It is springtime. In this image, it is springtime, and remember, there are 4 seasons: spring, summer, fall, and winter. And in this image, it is spring. We can see flowers in bloom. There are many flowers, and the flowers are in bloom. In bloom means the flowers have opened up and we can see their petals. These flowers are white and yellow. We can also see lots of grass. Lots of grass in this image, and the grass is green. There are several trees in this image. In the foreground, we have 2 trees. There's 1 tree on the left and a second tree on the right. And in the background, here in the distance, in the background, there are several trees. When there are trees in a group like this, a group of trees is called a grove. A grove. The tree on the left is shorter than the tree on the right. There is a height difference between these 2 trees. This tree is the taller tree, the tree on the right. Because it is springtime, both the tree on the left and the tree on the right, all of the trees have leaves. They have leaves, and their leaves are green. The tree on the left has 1, 2 birds sitting on a branch. The tree on the left has 2 birds sitting on the branch. The first bird is below. The first bird is below the second bird, and the second bird is above the first bird. Next to these birds are 3 birds sitting on the fence. They are sitting on the fence, and this type of fence is called a picket fence. A picket fence. So there are 3 birds sitting on the picket fence, and this picket fence is white. The color of the fence is white, and so there are 3 birds sitting on the white picket fence. All over the ground, there are little tiny seeds. Tiny means extremely small. Very, very, very small is tiny. There are tiny seeds all over the ground, and these birds are searching for the seeds. They look for the seeds and they eat the seeds with their beak. If this is a bird, here is the beak. The beak is like the mouth of the bird, I zoomed in on the image. I made the image bigger by zooming in, and now we can see the seeds on the ground more clearly. It's much easier to see the seeds, and we can also see the beaks of the birds, the beaks. These two birds here, this bird and this bird, are flying. They are flying. They are using their wings. So these are wings, and they're using their wings to fly. We can also see, now that we have zoomed in on the image, we can see the individual feathers. We can see the feathers on the wings of the birds. This type of bird is called a sparrow. This species of bird is a sparrow. Sparrow is spelled S-P-A-R-R-O-W. S-P-A-R-R-O-W, sparrow. And sparrows are a small bird, and their coloring is typically brown and black. Brown and black. And you can see they have a little patch of white on their face. But they are mostly brown and black. Now that we have zoomed in on the image, we can see some other things in greater detail. We can see more details in the image. So, for example, we can see here, we can see blades of grass. Blades of grass. This is the branch, this is the trunk, and this material that covers the tree and protects it is the bark. Between the tree and the fence, there are bushes. This here is a bush, and there are several bushes. There's one bush, two bushes, three bushes. Behind the fence, we can see a bush that has flowers. So a flowering bush. This is a flowering bush, a bush that produces yellow flowers. Speaking of flowers, do you know the names of flowers in English? This flower here, this white and yellow flower that we saw in the beginning, this to me looks like a daisy. A daisy. And this yellow flower here is called a forsythia. It's a very common flower in gardens in the U.S. All of the things we see that are close to us, that are near to where we are looking, such as the fence, the trees here, these two trees that are close to us, the bushes, the birds, this flowering bush here, all of this stuff that is close to us is part of the foreground. And in the distance here, there is a grove of trees, And we know it is far away. We know it's far from us because there is mist, some kind of mist or fog that is making it harder to see, right? It's obscuring our view. It makes it difficult to see clearly what these trees are. All we see is the outline. We see the outline or the silhouette of the trees. And these trees are in the background. So we have the items in the foreground here and the background here. And connecting the foreground and the background, there is a path that is running from the foreground into the distance up toward this grove of trees. We cannot see it, but I think that this path probably leads into this area here. And so we can imagine if the image continued over here with the fence, right? The fence would continue, and eventually you would get to a gate. There would be a gate here. A gate is like a door, some kind of door in the fence, and it can open and close and let people in and out. What can we call this space? What can we call this area? Does it have a name? I think it could have 3 possible names depending on its function, depending on how it's used. The first possibility is that this is a yard. Yard. Y-A-R-D. And a yard is a space that is around a house. So here we have a house, and around the house is the yard. And usually if there is a road or a street that goes near the house, this part of the yard is called the front yard, and this part back here is the backyard. The backyard usually is more private. And so this to me looks like it could be a backyard. People often like to fence in their property. They like to fence in their yard. To fence in means they build a fence around their yard. The second possibility is that this is some kind of garden. G-A-R-D-E-N. A garden. And a garden is usually for growing either flowers or vegetables. Vegetables like carrots, potatoes, onions. Now, a garden does not necessarily go near a house. You can put a garden in your yard. you could have a garden in your yard where you grow vegetables or you grow flowers. But a garden could be somewhere else. A garden could be by itself with no house. The third possibility is similar to a garden, but a little different. The third possibility is that this space is an orchard. O-R-C-H-A-R-D. An orchard. And an orchard is a garden for fruit trees. So you have trees, and on these trees grows different types of fruits like apples, pears, maybe peaches. So I think this is either a yard, a garden, or an orchard. What do you think? Let me know in the comments, and thank you for watching. See you next time.